Okay, cool. So up and rolling. So first of all, hello. My name's Gavin. If this is the first video you've watched from this channel, this is something a little bit different to what I would usually do. I'm usually just bringing out technique videos, but so I was teaching the other day and there was 2 students rolling at the end of class. And I just thought what I would do is bring this video out and just analyze a couple of things that they were doing, things that they were doing right, things that they were doing maybe wrong, things that they could improve on. So we have 2 students here. We have a white belt and a blue belt. Keep in mind the white belt has only been training for just about 4 or 5 months now, and the blue belt's been training for a couple of years. But you'll notice the higher belt, he's actually working with the lower belt, and he's not just destroying him. He's letting him do certain things just so he can work off his reactions and so forth. So hopefully this video is helpful. Let me know if you like it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please like, subscribe, all that fun stuff as well. That would be very helpful, and let's just jump straight into it.
Perfect.
Notice that there's one thing he's doing, which is very, very common when you're first starting as well. You tend to feel like you are on top and you want to hold your partner down, although he's in his guard. So he's not going to have much success in passing his guard at all. So in this position, which I do kind of say from the sidelines, I'm like, all right, you're not going to have any luck trying to pass his guard in that position, so you've got to start to get your posture, which he does. And in saying that, he's leaning back a little bit too far that Calvin actually uses his momentum, and he's so focused on actually getting the posture and opening the guard that he's not wary of how far he's actually leaning back. Calvin didn't even need to hold his arm because he was so committed to that one technique. And there we go, ended up sweeping him and ending up in mount. So his arms are very high as well, so that's a no-no as well. So his arms are very high, which you'll notice now, it made it quite easy for Calvin to walk his knees up, get to a high mount and cut the angle. And now you can see he's already starting to work on an armbar here. So Jason does an alright job, but loses his grip, okay? And also, what I do want to point out as well is when I'm first teaching people how to do an armbar, I always tend to say never to cross your ankles together. But there's a time and place when you are going to do this and when you're not going to do this as well. So when you're pulling the arm down, you're obviously going to pull to the side, the inside of the thigh, as opposed to pulling it straight onto your groin. Okay, this makes it easier for your opponent to pull your elbow out, but it also shuts them down for the hitchhiker escape. So if they're trying to roll out, he's not going to be able to, because in this situation, Jason's left arm is caught. Okay, so now another thing that happens is pushing his legs in the way to be annoying, and he uses a little bit of momentum to come back, to come up on top, and then he couldn't actually stack because there was so much pressure with Calvin's left leg. From him flaring his knee out, and then he got caught in the armbar. Alright, cool. So they're about to restart again. Shaking hands. Just note that Jason's doing a pretty good job. He stands up, he's a lot more dynamic, obviously, than when he's just trying to do pressure passes and he's on his knees. So he's doing a good job at pinning the legs, cutting a good angle, so he's perpendicular with Calvin, and now working his way into side control. So he's got a good crossface in this position. So you'll notice that Calvin is actually locking his arm as well in this position. And later on in the video, you'll see why this is kind of a no-no as well. So if you're first starting out, side control, wonderful position, good crossface, but make sure you're looking to put your hand into an underhook. So in this situation where Jason's right arm is, right down near Calvin's left hip or his right hip, not in between the legs. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, so Calvin's pushing on the hip and he uses that to square back up, and one more time he's caught in guard, running side to side, and Calvin's starting to square up. He goes for a leg. Okay, so wonderful if you go for the straight foot lock, which is in this position the only leg lock that you can actually do as a white belt in most competitions, but the penalties of not getting it is you get swept in most comps. So just to return the favour, Calvin's planting his foot on the ground and then takes his leg, and he got caught in the same footlock himself. So you notice that he brought his hips up to compensate. It allowed Calvin to go a little bit higher and then finish with the leg lock himself. Okay, just like a normal guillotine grip. Okay, from here I get rid of the space, like that there. So I'm pinching, I'm not driving this through, so it's on my muscle. Obviously I've got to lock his hips, so I can bring my legs over in this position. I can pinch nice and tight, push down, I could go over the top like that. Okay, I could stay here like this. Keep in mind your partner's going to be trying to stand up, so I've got to think about maybe stopping him from, say, doing a technical kneeling, and then I'm locking my hands together. I'm allowed to go belly down in most comps as well, and I can roll this way. So I want to pinch nice and tight. Okay, from here, I can arch backwards. So get off your elbow, get to your shoulder, arch backwards, same thing if he was to roll over. From here, I'm literally sprawling through the ground here and arching. Okay, so there we go, cutting an angle, and you can see that Calvin, although he's on his back, he's really trying to force that arm in between the legs. So you can see that Jason's kind of aware of that now. He kind of backed out a little bit, and now he's back to trying to pass a guard. It's kind of like was almost in a reverse De La Riva position, squaring back up again. Jason's doing a good job at really pinning the legs and running side to side, where Calvin's really just trying to keep his feet, in this case like his left foot on the bicep or the chest or the hip. Okay, pulling that gi out, it's going to make it very awkward, and he just tries to jump over. Kind of caught almost in a half guard for a sec, but see that lapel makes it very, very awkward. Okay, he's in side control, but notice there he had so much weight going forward, it made it very easy for Calvin to use that momentum to roll him all the way over. So yeah, good side control, but there was so much pressure going forward. And then now, pretty hard with that lapel locked around. You can see Calvin's using it to rotate around to almost a north-south position, maybe set up a choke. Okay, he abandons that position and then goes back into mount. And notice now where Calvin's hips are, they're a lot higher than where Jason's hips are. So in Jason's position, it makes it very, very hard to bridge because you're not going to affect your partner's base whatsoever. And same thing if you're trying to get to, say, a butterfly guard, a half guard, deep half guard, it doesn't really matter too much, but the hips are not in line. So very, very hard to escape this position unless he's maybe trying to do a backwards roll, which is kind of like the last chance out of this position. So keep going from here. Okay, so his arms are flared out by his side, Jason, and Calvin's using this to cut an angle and going for another armbar again. He's going to pinch the knees this time. Yep, much tighter than before, because you notice before there's a little bit more leeway and Jason was able to roll kind of up to his knees. So here we are again. Calvin's choosing to be on his back in guard, and Jason's running around, cutting a good angle. Whoop, he's very wary of what Calvin was doing a little bit earlier. Whoop, and then Calvin gave up his back. And one thing in this position here, you'll notice that Jason is very high. So his left arm is around the neck, too committed to actually maybe going for a choke in this position. His right arm, it would have been better off for him to actually hook under the armpit as well and go to a seatbelt position where you can actually lock your partner and you can bring your chest nice and close to their back, and then you can squeeze. Makes it a lot easier to actually get the hooks in down the track. But because he was so high, you'll notice that he just got shrugged off, ended up on his back and caught in side control, but live and learn. And his arms flared out in that position. Okay, so he's using his knee to defend a little bit, but he's really got to think about pulling his elbow down to the mat. Okay, Calvin's definitely got a handle on this now, trying to set up a kimura in this position. Notice that he's pinching his knees and he's brought him over to his side as well. So it's a lot easier to start to set up and finish the kimura. So here, okay, so he actually pulled it the opposite direction, kind of counterintuitive, and now use that to break the grip and then turn back the other way and straight away getting the shoulder lock there. Cool, so here we go again. So yeah, keep in mind, big skill level difference in these two competitors, but they're doing well anyway. Jason's, like I said, he's only been training a couple of months. Okay, one thing there to note. This is why we don't keep the arm inside the legs. It is so easy to actually set up a triangle in this position. So he pushed on the head, you know, and even in this position, you'll notice that Jason's hands are still locked together. So he's not actually wary of this. And this could have been something that Calvin was trying to work on most of the time. Okay, so throws the legs over, pinches the knees, nice and tight, in a triangle. Yeah, so this is a no-no, pretty much. And there we go. Live and learn, I guess. So caught in the triangle choke, but that's all a part of it anyway. And I think that's time, and that's the end of the roll. Okay, cool, so that's the end of this video. Please let me know if you found this helpful. As I said, I do plan on making a fair few more videos like this in the future. Some higher belts rolling, and then also some lower belts rolling. So yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. That would be much appreciated, and until next time.
Hadouken!